Join me as I dive into the world of retro favorites and challenge myself to find out which ones became instant status symbols overnight. There's something fascinating about retro items that were once overlooked, only to become highly coveted and sought after. It's as if they were just waiting for their time to shine. And when they did, they went from being forgotten relics to status symbols almost overnight. I mean, who would have thought that something like a vintage denim jacket or a pair of retro sneakers would become a symbol of coolness and sophistication? It's amazing how our perception of these items can shift so dramatically over time. And it got me thinking, what is it about these retro faves that makes them so desirable all of a sudden? Take for instance the resurgence of vinyl records. Not so long ago they were collecting dust in thrift stores and garage sales. But today they're a symbol of music appreciation and sophistication. Or how about cassette tapes? They went from being a relic of the past to a coveted collector's item. It's amazing how our nostalgia for the past can drive the demand for these retro items. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think is driving this trend? Is it our nostalgia for the past, or is it something more? Moving on, let's talk about some specific examples of retro faves that transitioned into status symbols. One such item is the classic Nintendo Game Boy. Who would have thought that this retro gaming console would become a staple of 90s nostalgia and a symbol of retro gaming cred? Another great example is the humble Polaroid camera. It went from being a kitschy novelty item to a must-have accessory for any serious photography enthusiast. The rise of the skinny tie is another great example. Once considered a fashion faux pas, it's now a staple of men's fashion and a symbol of retro coolness. And then there's the Sony Walkman, which went from being a clunky music player to a retro icon of the 80s and 90s. It's amazing how our perception of these items can shift so dramatically over time. Drive-in movie theaters. Drive-in theaters were once a popular weekend pastime. Families and couples would gather in their cars to watch films under the stars. With most drive-ins replaced by multiplexes or streaming, the nostalgia of this experience has turned it into a luxury event. Well-built wooden furniture. In those decades, homes were filled with solid wood furniture that was built to last. Today, mass-produced particle board furniture dominates, and handcrafted wooden pieces are expensive luxury items. But the most surprising item on my list has to be the Beanie Baby. These small stuffed animals were once considered a kid's toy, but today they're highly sought after by collectors and can sell for thousands of dollars. I mean, who would have thought that a small plush toy would become a status symbol? It's mind-boggling to think about how our perception of value can change so dramatically over time. There's an interesting story behind the rise of Beanie Babies. Apparently, the creator of Beanie Babies, Ty Warner, was a bit of a marketing genius. He limited the production of each Beanie Baby, which created a sense of scarcity and exclusivity. This, combined with their cute design and affordability, made them a must-have item for kids and collectors alike. As I look back on this list of retro faves that became status symbols, I'm struck by the cultural significance behind this trend. It's not just about nostalgia or novelty, it's about our desire to connect with the past and express ourselves through the items we own. Thanks for joining me on this trip down memory lane, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments about your favorite retro items that became status symbols. And if you're interested in exploring more retro culture, be sure to check out my video on the rise of retro fashion trends. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.